Strolling along the white sandy beaches of Australia's Gold Coast during lockdown, comedian Russell Howard should have been laughing. But instead of basking in a mid-pandemic burst of freedom, he was dodging locals and speaking only in his best Aussie accent. Because the West Country comic had arrived just as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sent shockwaves around the world with their bombshell Oprah Winfrey interview. "When anyone found out I was English they were on me like zombies," he laughs. "It was huge over there. Everyone wanted to know what was going on. They were like, 'Mate, what's happening with the royal family? What's the Queen thinking?' I'm like, 'I don't know, she's not in my circle of friends.' No, I didn't watch it. I was watching Liverpool v Burnley, and we drew. It was heartbreaking. So I ended up walking around using an Australian accent so people wouldn't ask. It was the only blip in an action-packed couple of months filming for new Sky One show Russell Howard, Stand Up to the World." In the three-part series, Russell, 41, travels to New Zealand and Australia, honouring his commitment to fans who bought tickets 2 years ago for his sell-out comedy tour. So after getting personal sign-off from New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern to enter the country in February amid tight travel restrictions, he packed his bags. But despite the top-level invitation, he still had to quarantine in a hotel for 2 weeks, allowed out for just 45 minutes a day to walk in a circle with other guests in the hotel courtyard. He says it drove him to the edges of sanity, despite his mum's efforts to help. Russell reveals, "She phoned and said, 'It could be worse. You could be a woodpecker. Just think about it. Whenever they're hungry they have to headbutt a tree. Thanks Mum. I was on the 10th floor, and you could hear music from the city centre of Auckland on a Saturday night. It was Ronan Keating's Life is a Rollercoaster. I've never wanted to be in a pub playing Ronan Keating more in my life. It was like Ronan was a siren, calling to me and saying, 'Come outside.' I was clearly on the edges of sanity." But Russell has no complaints about the quarantine process. "It completely makes sense," he says. "You get tested 4 times when you're in there. And then you go outside and 5 million people are safe." After a year that saw the world turned upside down by COVID, Russell needed to update his comedy routine. So he set out on an action-packed tour of the local scene to experience the freedom we are only just starting to taste back home. Then he shared his wild experiences as he took to the stage for the first time in nearly 2 years. It is safe to say his time down under was not the usual tourist holiday. "Satisfying a pig has never made me so happy. And that's not a euphemism," he howls. "It's not as rude as he makes it sound." Russell had been invited to Hollywood star Sam Neill's ranch, where the Jurassic Park actor introduced him to his animals, including his pig, which loves nothing more than a belly rub. He says in wonder, "He's got a vineyard. Have you ever met anyone who owns a **T ton of wine?" He was like, "Shall we just get ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** He says, "So share an hour and stayed 5. There's certain people in life that when you spend time with them, it's almost like they're a fire. Their way of being just warms your soul a bit." He's got that about him. In the series, Russell takes on the stranger things New Zealand and Australia have to offer. They include racing mobile toilets in a Queensland pub called the Banana Bender and hunting in the outback for a mystical Bigfoot-type creature called a yowie. An example of Kiwi ingenuity is something called Edward Cider Hands, he explains. They tape bottles of cider to their hands and get drunk in the shower. Apparently drinking in the shower gets you drunk quicker. I tried it but realized I needed a friend to help me because you can't open the bottle yourself. But it was not all laughs. Viewers also see Russell meet Georgina Beyer, the world's first trans MP, who opens up about her political life. And in Christchurch he hangs out with a group of pensioners who make coffins by hand for cash-strapped locals. It was a poignant moment that hit home for Russell, whose wife Cerys Morgan is a doctor. He says, "Social media is always on humanity hating itself and makes you think we hate each other. You forget, With each daily scandal or shock or moment of horror, there's amazing things going on in the world, like a little lady in New Zealand making coffins for babies, just because she can. There's something magnificent about that. As an increasing number of comics turn to presenting, is he tempted to follow? No, he admits. It's so cool when you see people who can do it really well, like Jack Whitehall or Joel Dommett. They're brilliant, they're so natural, they've got that really lovely master of ceremonies. Whereas I'm just a little ratty bloke that does stand-up. So how about doing Strictly instead? I could never do Strictly, he says firmly. I dance like a newborn pony, nobody wants to see that. When I got married, that was the most terrifying moment of the day. I just held on to my wife and she sort of twirled me around a bit. And anyway, if I split my trousers in the middle of the Paso Doble, I'd never live it down. I just know my little world, and I love it. I like hanging out with comics, I like doing comedy, and I like traveling. I'm in my own lane and I'm happy with that.